Mabuhay! I'm Rama, and welcome to my art space. And it's time for Inktober! Inktober was conceptualized by American artist Jake Parker, and actually it's a mixture of two words, ink and October. Hence the word Inktober. That's why this challenge is always set annually on October. This challenge has 31 prompts representing one drawing a day, and each one can be made separately. But that's not my game plan. What I'm going to do is put all of the prompts as one illustration here in the widespread pages of my sketchbook. This is my first ever Inktober, so I'm gonna slay it with a gel pen. I actually started a few days late, so I made all the first 5 prompts in a single sitting. The first prompt was dream. This gave me an idea of making a story out of a dream. A really crazy dream. It's a dream about scary, hairy, gigantic spiders with 6 eyes and enormous fangs, walking on old, rugged, cobbled paths. Well, those are the second and third prompts. Now, this must be a mother spider with little baby predators in training attacking a boy who miraculously dodges the attack. Okay, I know it's weird that the cobweb would come out of the spider's mouth, not the other end, but it's a dream, okay? A really crazy one. But as the boy dodges the attack, he loses something special. It's a map. Perhaps a treasure map. Let's continue the adventure with these 2 words, golden and drip. Now, what can I do with golden and drip? When I think of something made of gold, I think of gold bars, gold coins, golden crowns, well, something that makes you posh. But do you know that gold can also make people miserable? Like this poor lady statue? By the way, do you know who she is? Oh, well. She's Midas' daughter. If you know the legend of Midas, the king who turned everything he touched into gold, then you know her fate. And her tears are dripping as she melts under the spider's accidental attack. I paired the words toad and bounce. Yeah, you guessed it right. A bouncing toad. I used references that I searched on the internet to know how a toad should look like when it bounces. And it's not just any bouncing toad. It's just as aggressive as all the other giant animals in this dream. The first thing that I think of the word fortune is anything that makes you rich. It could mean rare jars, jewelry, gold coins, wads of cash, crowns, jewels, name it. But this fortune in this dream is not easy to get because our not-so-friendly creatures are guarding it against anyone who wants to get their hands on it. Next in this list are the words wonder and spicy. This space is almost full, so I need to look for a new space here. My initial idea for wonder was a horse or a bird wandering aimlessly throughout the dream. But since I wanted it to be an adventure thriller, I wanted it to be more than wandering aimlessly. Instead of some wandering deadpan animal, I ended up with a wandering injured hot air balloon carrying a panicking boy and Well, a bag of chilies. Now that's spicy. I honestly couldn't think where to put the spicy part, so I guess it's best to put it here. But why is the boy number 2 in panic? The answer lies in the next prompt. Rice. There are so many things that can rise and attack, like this giant albatross here. Another frenzied giant creature attacking a human being. Could it be because this boy stole this bag of chilies? Animals here might be scary, but I guess this is nature's revenge against mankind's greediness. Now, what's a magical world without castle? I was excited for this one because I wanted this to be in the middle of the whole drawing. But there's also a huge risk of putting this in the middle of the drawing, especially that the whole illustration is not yet done. I'm just still halfway throughout the prompts, and there are still more elements needed to complete the illustration. Although I've been planning ahead how to illustrate these prompts and where to place them, I haven't really fully conceptualized on how the whole picture would be made. I would leave this castle incomplete for now until I have put all of the elements in this picture. I thought long enough where to put Dagger in this whole series and decided to place it in the middle. I thought the entrance of the castle would be the perfect place for the Dagger. Putting it elsewhere would surely make the Dagger look out of place. One of the challenges of putting a drawing in the middle of the sketchbook is to make sure that the lines would look neat as it crosses one page to another. It's a bit hard drawing it here, especially that one side of the page looks more elevated than the other. And I wanted to make sure that I would leave no white space in the middle. Now, this is a powerful dagger, although it looked more like a sword than a dagger because it can pierce the soul. Now, this reminds me of the Word of God, which can pierce through the heart and soul. And I'm now halfway through the Inktober challenge. I was thrilled with the next two prompts because this would show the battle between good and evil. I believe that angels are fierce and mighty warriors sent to protect us. That's why I portrayed the angel here as a sword-slinging soldier ready to fight. But I was a bit disappointed that I was not able to show its whole body because it was placed at the edge of the page. And I was not even sure if I got its body proportion right. And the angel would not be in a battle without its arch nemesis, the demon. Just like the angel, the demon here was also ready to charge to fight. And he's very angry here because he knew he's going to lose. Now, the trouble I had with ink drawings was that I struggled with making various shades. Unlike in gouache paintings, where I can easily make distinct shades and hues, I had to control the pressure of the pen so that I can create the lightest to the darkest black. This one's also a challenge because the subject is drawn at the edge of the picture. Yes! I'm more than halfway in finishing my first ever Inktober art. Things are getting more exciting and harder as I try to think about where to put these three next prompts: saddle, plump, and frost. When I think of a saddle, it's automatic that I would picture it with a horse. Sadly, in this tumultuous world, this saddle has no horse but only a bag of horse's bones. But I think this space is too small to clearly draw the dead horse. Next is the word plump. The word plump is usually associated with prosperity, so I drew a big plump boss cat lying on the pile of treasures. But it's a corrupt and greedy boss cat. And I suppose this is the mafia godfather of all those aggressive animals. Next one is the Frost, which I portrayed as a snowflake. So the big plump cat, despite being a bad boss, appears to have been mesmerized with these snowflakes that seem to have come from the angel. Cats do love shiny things, don't they? Next in this list are the words chains, scratchy, and celestial. Now this page is almost filled, so it's quite a challenge where to put the next prompts. I already have a plan where to put chains though, and I decided it will be on this castle. Well, I'm just a bit hesitant at first because I think the castle looks complete, but I would have to put new lines and a new drawing just to indicate chains for this prompt. Adding a new drawing on what was already drawn was actually my dilemma because it might ruin the first drawing. Also, I'm worried that the lines that I've made on the walls of the castle would see through the chains. So the trick here is just darken the chains a bit, thicken its outline, and add lots of shadows. There you have a castle captivated with chains, and now we move forward to Scratchy. I erased the first drawing for this prompt to move it to a cleaner space on the paper. What I'm drawing here was a jester who couldn't stop scratching his back. Again, I was faced with the dilemma of having the jester's hat drawn over the finished wall of the castle. Anyway, as for the jester here, I wanted to add more emotions on him that he was already in too much pain because he couldn't stop scratching his back. After adding lots of shadows and lines on the poor scratching jester, let's move to Celestial. For this prompt, I'm not only going to make one, but two drawings. And I'm sure that you have guessed that the first one that I'm drawing here is the sun. I made sketches of wavy sun rays and straight line sun rays to check which of them look better. Well, as a bit of a traditionalist, I ended up with the straight line sun rays. I added a face to the sun, just like those medieval drawings of celestial beings. I added dark spaces between the rays to indicate the difference between light and dark. Of course, we're not yet done because we still have the moon. Because I wanted to sustain some paradox in this drawing, I made the moon grumpier compared to the sun. Like it doesn't care with all the chaos that is happening around it and with all its pockmarks on its face. Here are the majestic celestial beings, but I still have 8 prompts to go. I now move to the word shallow, dangerous, remove beast. I could not think of anything for shallow except for a dead little spider floating on shallow waters. And where did this water came from? It's actually melted water from the snowflake that fell from the sky. This was actually the quickest work that I did among all the prompts. My entry for dangerous was also pretty quick because I only drew a giant crab coming out of a black hole. So why is there a crab in a hole? The answer lies in the next prompt, which is remove. I based this one on the legend of Pandora's box, so you would see here a lady removing a lid from the hole and realizing her mistake. Just like in the legend, the hole did not contain only one scary thing, but a whole bunch of them. I honestly did not want to draw a beast at first, but then I realized that this could be part of the whole story. This beast has been taking kingdoms captive, just like how corruption, greediness, and all those evil giants have been taking over our corporate world, education systems, and also governments. Despite the wars and all the evils that we see all around, there is hope. We're down to our final 4. For this final set, we have the word Sparkle, Massive, Rush, Fire. I have lots of choices for the word Sparkle, but I decided to go for a City of Refuge. It has a lighthouse that provides light, inhabitants that fights against darkness, and a city that stands on a hill. And it's not just a city on a hill, but a city that stands on a massive mountain. And this mountain acts as a fortress for an army of soldiers and archers who are ready to battle the beast with quick arrows that rush like the wind. Now these arrows are not only formidable and quick, but they also carry fire. This is the fire that will destroy the beast and his stronghold. But I have a problem on this part, because the sun rays are already taking up the part where the fire should be. So my quick solution was covering certain parts with the help of a correction pen. I hope this is not cheating. But it helped because I was able to clearly draw fire burning around the beast and the castle. Whoops! The artwork is not yet done. Let me make this finishing touch. To commemorate this as an Inktober art, I put the word Inktober with the dreaming guy who actually started all of this Inktober madness. So I now present to you my first ever Inktober art! Yay! You know, when I reflected on my work, I see this with a Christian perspective, and I hope you would bear with me on this. Taking a closer look at my work somehow made me think that this is much like the situation of our world. You know, there's an unseen battle between good and evil. I believe that there are spiritual forces behind that's happening all around the world, and man is naturally greedy and selfish, and when we feed on these characteristics, we face very dire consequences. Sometimes our foolishness can bring negative outcomes that can hurt the people around us. But you know, there's this valuable thing that is more precious than gold or silver, and I believe that's the love of God, and that is shown through His Word. That's why I drew the soul piercer. It should be a dagger, but it turned out to be like a sword. You know, it pierces our soul and exposes our hearts, especially if you read it with wisdom and you read it with the guidance of the Holy Spirit. But despite the chaos and the conflict that's happening in the world, I believe in Paul's words in Romans 8:18, where he said that every sufferings in this world are nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed to us. And also Jesus said in John 16:33 that, you know, He has already told all these things that will happen, the wars, the famine, the conflicts, the conflict, the chaos, but He has overcome the world. Despite the chaos all around us, we can have peace when we are in Christ. And I hope you did enjoy this whole process of my artwork. And if you did, please do click the thumbs up button. And if you're here in my channel for the first time, I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel and also clicking the bell notification so you would be notified of my future videos. Again, I'm Rema, and thank you so much for joining me in my art space, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye! Okay. And it's time for Inktober. Inktober.